It's likely that you know Scott Wolf from the film Party of Five when he played the likable, intelligent, and sensitive character Bailey Salinger. During the 1990s, he was the person you cheered for because he was a fixer, a figure of a big brother, and someone who had a heart of gold. But now, at the age of 57, he is confronted with one of the most difficult problems of all: the death of a marriage that lasted for 21 years. This is not just any split, rather, it is one that is rife with feelings, thoughtful consideration, and years of history that have been shared. In the state of Utah on June 9, 2025, Scott submitted a petition for divorce from his wife Kelly Wolf. The decision that he made was, according to him, the most difficult decision of my life. The fact that their 3 children, Jackson, Miller, and Lucy, have always been and continue to be the loves of our lives and our every priority was stressed by him. They are attempting to handle the transition with grace and mutual respect, and they have requested privacy while they guide their children through this new chapter in their lives. 2005 marked the beginning of Scott and Kelly's romantic relationship. They went on a blind date in New York City, which was arranged by friends who knew each other and observed that there was something special about both of them. Not much time passed before they became aware of the profound connection that existed between them. After a period of 2 years, on May 29, 2004, they tied the knot in a private ceremony that was attended by their immediate family and close relationships. Through the subsequent 21 years, they constructed a life together, one that was not always ostentatious but was founded on the principles of family, trust, and development. Fans frequently referred to them as a rare thing in Hollywood, describing them as genuine, grounded, and loyal to one another. Not only did they raise 3 children together, but they also supported each other's careers and avoided the glare of the tabloids. Photo shoots and beautiful events were not the only things that mattered in their lives. Doing the job, which included parenting, communicating, and growing together, was the focus of our endeavor. When asked about his life, Scott once stated in an interview, "My marriage and my children are the best things that have ever happened to me." Rather than being only a soundbite, his phrase was reflective of the way he lived his life. The family served as his focal point. However, similar to the majority of long-term partnerships, theirs was not devoid of its fair share of difficulties and complexities. The course of life shifted. That was a change. So then what took place? Why at this time? Over the course of an emotional Instagram post, Kelly revealed the road that ultimately resulted in the two of them parting ways. The explanation that she provided was that this was not a hasty choice. It was the culmination of a lengthy and secluded period during which they engaged in introspection, therapy, and conversations that proved to be emotionally taxing. She disclosed that she had once contemplated leaving a year ago, but ultimately decided to remain committed to her husband because they both desired to give their marriage every opportunity to succeed. For a period of time, they did exactly that. They engaged in counseling for couples. They were able to spend more and better time together. They spent a considerable amount of time discussing their hopes, their children, and the future, and after a while it appeared to be successful. On the other hand, as time went on, they came to the realization that remaining together was not necessarily the most loving or healthy choice. In his post, Kelly was completely forthright. "We are not giving up," she stated in her memo. "For the sake of our children and ourselves, we have made the decision to pursue peace, freedom, and protection." She wanted others to understand that the dissolution of a marriage does not necessarily indicate failure, rather it might denote wisdom. There are times when the decision to split ways is the most loving alternative you can take. Her statements were repeated in Scott's own message. In spite of the fact that he did not divulge all of the private information, he made it quite obvious that this divorce was not about anger or blame. It wasn't a spectacular split at all. The decision was made out of love, concern, and the aspiration to provide their children with the best possible future in terms of their health. He went on to say, "Kelly and I will always be partners in the process of raising our children. Both love and responsibility will remain constant throughout time." A divorce petition was submitted by the couple in Utah, the state in which they presently reside with their children. In the court filings, there is a reference to a parenting plan that has been sealed, which demonstrates that they have a mutual intention to safeguard the well-being of their children during this period of transition. It was important to them that the story not become a source of entertainment or gossip. On their own terms, they decided to share it with others. Understanding what their connection meant to each other and to the fans is necessary in order to get a complete understanding of the significance of this occasion. There was more to Scott and Kelly than just being a celebrity couple. The two of them were considered to be soulmates, co-authors of a life that was built on mutual respect and shared aspirations. Kelly, who is a certified therapist and a former reality TV celebrity, has utilized her platforms to be open and honest about issues pertaining to mental health, emotional well-being, and conscious intimate relationships. Despite living in a world that frequently celebrates perfection, Scott and Kelley made an effort to be authentic together. They discussed the difficulties they were facing, they admitted that they had made those errors, the two of them made an effort to develop not only as a pair but also as individuals, and that made their connection feel much more genuine than it already did. Enthusiastic followers, on the other hand, have observed some subtle shifts during the past few months. It was becoming less common for the pair to be seen in photographs together. There were less updates regarding the family, the posts that Scott made on social media got more introspective. Kelley's tone shifted somewhat. People were silently curious, but none anticipated this to happen. After then the announcement was made, and although it was extremely upsetting, it was also completely logical. The manner in which they have chosen to deal with this situation is quite astounding. With respect and honor, for the sake of openness. Additionally, and most importantly, with love. During their conversation, Kelley revealed that she and Scott had made a solemn vow to go through every possible experience before deciding to dissolve their marriage. There was no casualness about their departure, their efforts were put forward. As soon as they realized that their work did not lead them back to one another, they realized that it was time to part ways, not with resentment but with thankfulness for the years that they had spent together. In addition to that, she discussed the ways in which her own personal development had a part in the decision. She stressed how the importance of finding peace inside oneself cannot be overstated. The fact that remaining in a marriage only because it is comfortable is not always beneficial either for the couple or for their children at the time. It was not a sign of weakness on her part that she made the decision to withdraw from the situation. It has been reported by some who are close to Scott that he is not just heartbroken but also at peace. The man is not furious, he has no ill will. As a parent, he has made the decision to concentrate on the positive aspects of their relationship, such as the love they shared, the family they established, and the future he will continue to build. Every parent is dedicated to co-parenting in a manner that is characterized by love, structure, and flexibility. The two of them have reached an agreement to share custody of their children and to continue to be there for them in every significant aspect. Attending school events, showing their support for their children's activities, and working together behind the scenes to maintain order at home are all things that they do. The divorce between them is not a secret. Two people who loved one another passionately yet needed to let go in order to grow are the protagonists of this story. A mature decision that was made with clarity and heart is what this is. This is the kind of narrative that serves as a gentle reminder that relationships do not always last forever, and that's perfect. Online, Scott's supporters have shown their unwavering support for him. His openness and willingness to be vulnerable have garnered him a lot of praise. There have been other people who have shared their own experiences with divorce and co-parenting, and they have felt appreciated in his path. He is no longer merely a well-liked television personality, rather he is a man who, just like everyone else, is navigating the genuine, messy and emotional events of his life. Kelley, on the other hand, continues to lead with genuineness. Despite this, she continues to speak out on issues pertaining to mental health, relationships, and living with intention. Her message is one of self-empowerment. It is possible to love another person while choose your own path in life. You are free to depart with a positive attitude. In addition, you have the ability to begin again, not from scratch but rather from experience. However, what does the future hold for Scott Wolf? Currently, he is concentrating on getting better. During this period he is spending time with his children, getting back in touch with himself, and slowly considering potential acting possibilities in the future. You can wait for Hollywood. First and foremost are his heart and his home, simply because this is not another celebrity breakup that has occurred. As a reminder, life is constantly changing, that there are beginnings even in the completion of something. The act of letting go, when carried out with love and care, can be considered a form of victory. The story of Scott and Kelley is not yet finished, rather it has merely taken a different form. This is no longer a marriage, rather it is a partnership that is centered on the nurturing of 3 wonderful children. In addition, it's possible that this is also a happily ever after in its own right. The narrative that they have decided to tell is that one that is characterized by honesty, resiliency, and the power that comes from gracefully leaving.